Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Beth Ann. Hopefully my volume is better. I know in my last video it was weird for some reason, but I tested it this time and it seemed okay. But let me know if I sound really quiet, or if you have to crank your volume up really high to hear me. Let me know down below. Okay, today I wanted to do now I'm already forgetting what it is, the reading goals tag, which is an original tag by Rosie Cockshit. So I will link to her initial video announcing the tag down below. I am so behind on tag videos. I've been tagged in some great ones over the past several weeks, so I'm going to try to slowly catch up. This one seemed like the easiest one to do, honestly. So that's why I ended up doing it. Okay, so let's dive in. As usual, I'll have the prompts down below, and they should have timestamps as well. So first, Rosie says to tag some friends. So I'm going to tag 3 people. I want to tag Sarah at Bright and Bookish, and she's already set her 2022 reading goals, and I've already watched that video, but I would just be really curious, Sarah, if you watch this, just what your thoughts are, because Rosie's tag is all about just sort of thinking about what our reading goals are, and why. How do we choose particular reading goals, and then what goals have worked in the past and have not. So it's just a bit more of a thoughtful way of the how and why behind the reading goals that we're all making. Then I also wanted to tag What Effie Reads, which is a very new channel to me. I think I just found out about her like yesterday, from another Rosie Cockshut video. And she's already posted her 2022 reading goals, but I haven't watched that video yet. So apologies, Effie, if you've already gone into some of this like behind the scenes reading goal type stuff, but I would be interested in your thoughts on this. And then also David Wiley is the third person I'll tag, who has also already posted his 2022 reading plans, which are massive and very ambitious. But yeah, David, I'd be really curious in your answers to these questions if you have time and interest for this tag. Okay, so now let's dive into the tag. So first is, do you set reading goals? Why or why not? So yes, I do. And prior to starting my BookTube channel towards the end of 2020, my reading goals were just focused on the Goodreads challenge. So just setting a number of books that I ideally wanted to read each year. And I was not very good about meeting it. But then starting my BookTube channel was part of essentially a new reading goal, of just really wanting to focus on reading and make it more of a priority in my life than it had been up to that point. So I do set reading goals, and it's just, I think exactly like Rosie said, I think in the answer to this question, I just want to make sure that I am consciously choosing when I do and don't read. So what I mean by that is that it's very easy after a long day of work and parenting, in my case, to just lay back on the couch and watch like 4 episodes of some TV show I don't even care very much about, and then go to bed. And while that can be a very important part of my life, and still is, it's necessary to do that sometimes, I just wanted to be very intentional about it and just have the 2-second thought process of like, is tonight a night when I just really need to veg in front of a trashy TV show, or is it a night when I want to watch a really good TV show, because those exist too, or is it a night when I really would be a lot happier and more fulfilled if I picked up a book. So yeah, so that's the end goal of any reading goal that I set, is really just to make sure that I'm reading as much as I want to be reading, and that I'm prioritizing it in my life. So even when I set more specific goals about the number of books or a genre or something, I don't care very much if I actually hit the specifics of that goal most of the time, as long as that goal is something that is still pushing me to read as much as I would like to be reading, if that makes sense. Okay, next question. Are your goals things that you absolutely aim to complete, or more general themes you want to focus on? So, sort of coming off of my previous answer, in my head, I think about them more as general themes that I want to focus on. Now, it can be very exciting to do a reading challenge that has like a bingo board or something, or to have my own checklist of books that I want to read, or, sort of other pieces of books that I want to hit, and choose books to like hit those pieces. But in general, I do think of it as general themes to just inspire my reading, keep me curious, keep me wanting to prioritize my reading. Then the, I guess, third question is, when in the year do you set new goals? So like most people, in the United States. I set my new goals at the start of the new year. And then fourth question, Rosie doesn't have numbers, so I'm like trying to count. Do you have any long-standing goals that you aim for every year? And if yes, what are they? So I guess long-standing goals, since I started using Goodreads in 2011, I have set myself a Goodreads challenge. And like I said, I haven't always been good at meeting it. But again, just wanting a number of books gives me sort of a target for making sure that I'm prioritizing reading as much as I would like to. What type of goal has been the most successful by whatever metric you chose in the past? I'm not very successful with reading goals. Since I started my BookTube channel, I have been consistently meeting, and this is only a sample size of like 2, I've been consistently meeting my challenge goal of just how many books I read in a year. So that's very exciting, and I've been able to increase my challenge, which is great. But a lot of other reading goals haven't been very successful. The ones where I like join a specific challenge and want to fill out a list, or want to do, I don't think I've ever done one where I want to read like one book in X category each month. I think that might actually be successful for me because it still allows a lot of possibilities of mood reading and still not being super structured. And so the one real reading goal that I've set so far is my personal African American literature project, where each month I'm going to read a book, hopefully from sort of the classic canon, I guess, of African American literature. So thinking 19th, 20th century African American literature. I will link to my video explaining that down below. So I'm going to try that and see if that's successful. All right, next, what type of goal has not gone to plan? What went wrong? Yeah, so reading goals or challenges, just thinking about my BookTube experience, where I have to do either like a long list of very specific books or hitting very specific prompts in a short time frame, because it turns out I'm a mood reader. And so things that constrain my reading too much end up feeling more onerous than I would like my reading to be. So one of my sort of personal resolutions is to be a little bit more careful about what kinds of challenges I go into, and then also just keeping really realistic expectations. It's very exciting when there's a specific challenge or thinking about a reading goal inspired by somebody else's reading goal. It's so easy to just create a long TBR, and it's like I just can't because I need to leave room to mood read. So it would be nice to hit more sort of like monthly challenges and things, but making sure that I only select like 1 or 2 books to try to fill those. All right, do you change your goals based on how the last reading year has gone? I do. So I did not end up liking my reading goals last year. I had a reading goal of reading some of the Goodreads Awards books in the fantasy category. I can link to that down below. So I had, I think 10 or 12 books that I wanted to read throughout the year. And I just got kind of bored with the type of modern fantasy that hits the bestseller list, quite honestly. And that ended up not being what I wanted to focus on once we got a couple months in. And same with my Jane Austen challenge, which I actually still really like that challenge. So in 2021, I had wanted to read her 6 major novels along with a book of sort of critique and historical context about Jane Austen, and intersperse a chapter from that book with each of the novels. And so that would have only been every other month, but that was still like reading the same author. As much as I love Jane Austen, I actually just didn't want to read 6 books by her in 1 year, even though I think all of her books are, the ones I've read are 5-star books, and I sort of anticipate the ones I haven't read yet being 5-star books. So yeah, I didn't want to read that many books by the same author. Okay, and then do you track your reading goals? If so, how? So of course I track using Goodreads and Storygraph in terms of what I'm reading, keeping track of the number of books I'm reading. And for my African American literature project, I think that will be pretty easy to track sort of in the same way through those websites, just keeping an eye on who I'm reading. But I also will just be keeping notes in a notebook. And has any of this changed a lot over the course of your reading life? So one general goal I haven't talked a lot about, but like another reason for me wanting to join BookTube was I really wanted to diversify my reading. I wanted to be able to think more broadly than what the library is putting on their, the shelves that you see when you first walk in, where they're like, these are the exciting books. And same with Barnes & Noble and the things that my friends were talking about, because most of my friends don't read very many books. And so they all tend to be talking about the same like big name things. And so, yeah, part of joining BookTube, as I'd been watching it and was getting this really cool TBR of all these books that I'd never heard of, part of joining the conversation was to continue encouraging myself how to do that. So that's a pretty vague goal. And I did start out 2021 doing a better job of keeping track of some metrics for just measuring that. Am I reading more than just white male authors? But I didn't keep up with sort of actually analyzing that. I was trying to do it on a quarterly scale. And so I didn't do it for the third and fourth quarters of 2021 for life reasons. We moved and we've done COVID quarantines and all kinds of things. So I will try to do a 2021 year wrap up just to see how I did over the year, and use that to just sort of develop some new general goals about diversifying my reading that I'd like to keep in mind in 2022. So that has changed a lot over the course of my reading life from when I was like 4 years old. And that's a good change. So yeah, I think that's enough from me. That is Rosie's tag. So again, please go check out the original video down below. I tagged 3 people, but of course, I want to hear what everybody thinks about this. I think reading goals are really cool, and there's so much variation in BookTube about what reading goals people set, what they find really inspiring, and the struggles that people have with them. So I'm just really curious to see this from as many people as possible. All right, thanks for watching if you've stuck around this long, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.